Hello YouTube, this is BUB'S Comics coming at you with a tag video. I've been tagged actually twice in this video. So first was by One-Legged Books, and it's a top 25 books kind of in your collection that just like kind of a random book pull, but not necessarily random, but kind of like books you haven't seen in a while. That are in your collection that you'd like to show off or you'd like to see. So I got tagged by One-Legged Books and then also by Probe 186. If you're not subscribed to either of those guys, check him out. One-Legged Books, I know he's got a few subscribers and growing. But Probe 186 is a little bit newer of a channel. He's one of my favorite channels, and I tell you why. It's a little odd, but I love his videos. Like, he's got good hauls, he's got good everything, really. But I'm from New York, and he's from New York, and he's still in New York. And I don't know if he films his videos with his windows open, or if he lives like in the top 5 floors or bottom 5 floors. Because if you live 5 stories or less to the street, then street noise is just a part of your life. You hear it all the time. I grew up on the 15th floor of an apartment building, so you never really heard the street noise. You hear sirens, that's about it. But he must be at least 5 stories or less to the ground, because you can hear every honk, and so anyway, I watch a lot of videos in my car while I'm driving. That's why I don't comment on every video that I watch. But I watch a lot of videos in my car, and every now and then I'll be watching one of his, and I'll hear honks and sirens and things going off. I'm looking all around. I'm checking my rearview mirror. I think I'm getting pulled over. It's great. So anyway, one of the reasons why I enjoy his channel so much is for the background noise. You don't hear that too often. So, all right, and of course, Chris Barkham, One-Legged Books. If you're not already subscribed to his channel, then you're probably not subscribed to my channel, because I talk about him all the time. He's absolutely fantastic. All right, here you go. First up, we got, these aren't in any particular order. Actually, they're just in alphabetical order, so there you go. Here is Batman Adventures, number 1. This one I picked up. I'm going to get it signed by Kevin Conroy, I think in November or something like that. So there you go. There's number 1. Just love that Funko Pop version. Try and move through these pretty quick. Here is Gotham by Gaslight. Is another one that these are kind of like wall books that I don't display. So most of these books have a little bit of an extra value to them, or are more rare, or I have a personal connection with. This book, I first found it, and my son is probably a bigger Batman fan than I am, and he knew about this Gotham by Gaslight, and he had talked about how cool it was, and maybe that I should cosplay as Gotham by Gaslight, right? As Batman by whatever. And so I had found this book for him, and gave it to him, helped him to get it, and then come across it myself again for $1. For $1, I couldn't leave it there. This one is Comic Talk number 7. I picked this one up because it is a Dynamic Forces featuring an interview. Anyway, it's a limited series of 2,500, so 2,500 of these exist, and I've got one of them. And it's Andy Kubert's talks about X-Men 25, which of course is where Wolverine loses his adamantium. And it's got a nice foil to it. It's just really cool. And when I first bought it, it came in like Ultra Pro kind of harder plastic kind of thing. And those are terrible. Back in the day, they were really cool, but now they just crack because they're kind of a brittle plastic. They don't hold up over time. So it was really cool. It's glad to have it. I think I only paid $1 for it. This was my first old comic. Flying Saucers is Dell 15 Center. It was my first Dell comic. I just love it. I mean, I used to have it up on the wall. The wall books, I've got probably 40 or so books on the wall, maybe more. So every now and then this will come back out, but it's kind of been in my bin for a while, so I just thought I'd show it off. Flying Saucers Comics, unbelievable accounts of bizarre sightings of UFOs and the men who fly them. Dun dun dun. I guess I don't have any women pilots in the UFO world, huh? Anyway, here is G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, number 21. It says the most unusual G.I. Joe story ever, and that's because there's no writing in it. It's a silent issue with I think Storm Shadow is his name. So it's a completely silent issue. There's no talking in it at all. If you don't own this book, go get this book. It's, to me, it's kind of a novelty key. So I really love it, and you just kind of need to get this book. I got it from a contest winning from Silver Age Dave. So just really happy to have that. It's a fantastic book. If you don't have it, go get it. It's not that unaffordable. Next we have The Incredible Hulk number 179. So in all the debate, right, you have first cameo appearance, most would agree, and if you don't have a Hulk 181, then you would definitely say Hulk 180 is the first appearance of Wolverine if that's what you have. If you have a Hulk 181, you're probably going to say Hulk 181's first appearance, and this is a cameo appearance. I happen to think, even though I own a 181, that Hulk 180 is a first appearance because there's just too much in it. It's too much of a panel. It's full showing. He's involved in the story. He's not off to the side. But either way, it's Hulk 181, Hulk 180, Hulk 181. This is Hulk 179. And the reason that this book has any importance, other than it's a pretty good story, is that it has the first mention of Wolverine. They don't say his name, but at the end of the comic where they tease kind of what's going to happen next, it says at the bottom, you know, and in the next issue, a new hero or foe or something that's unbelievable, you'll never believe, or whatever like that. So to get that is pretty awesome. So to me, this is the first actual book, because of course it predates any of the advertisement books for 181. It predates 180, of course. So this is the first time that there was ever a tease for Wolverine. So this to me is the absolute first book in any true Wolverine collector who's trying, like me. I've got what I consider to be all 5 pre-181 appearances or advertisement appearances or mentions or anything like that, and then 181 throughout. So anyway, there you go. Here is James Bond number 7, and that's, yeah, I don't know, Eidolon or something. I just love it. It shows his Walter PPK off. It's just a really, really, really cool design to a cover, and it's probably my second favorite Bond cover. I have 2 of these just because when I see one in a bin, I can't help but pick it up. And I think I had 3 or 4, and I've given them away in prize winnings. Just absolutely love it. It's fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic cover. The gun detail is so perfect. The pitting and everything, and the wear marks where it comes in and out of his holster. It's just absolutely perfect. And then there he is holding it there and standing on there. It's just a perfect cover. I love it. We got to have the Lone Ranger in this, just because I couldn't not have it. So I love this one. To me, it's kind of a John Wayne-esque cover with the Lone Ranger riding silver. Say that 10 times fast. And looks absolutely fantastic. I love the blues on it with the red, and I even like the yellow dynamite and red symbol there. Yellow and red dynamite symbol, I think was pretty good. So there's Lone Ranger 17. Marvel Age number 79. Love this one because I do like Nick Fury and I do like Wolverine, and that's a classic kind of image that they have together in other books and in other covers. And I like it. They also has a graphic novel. Talks about the 5-page preview of a graphic novel, which I own, and I have it signed by Jim Steranko. So I think it's cool. And also, it's the first comic that my son ever got me. So I thought that was pretty cool. I have other copies of this. This one's kind of a beat-up reader copy, but it's the one he gave me, so of course I keep it. Next, we have Frank Miller's RoboCop, RoboSteel Edition. This is one of those I've shown off countless times, I'm sure, but since it's not currently hanging in my room somewhere, then I think it counts for this. And it has a see-through cover, not wraparound, but a see-through cover where you can kind of see what's going on. I think it's pretty cool, and this is one that I intend to get CGC'd. I picked it up for $1, ended up, you know, they tried to sell them for like $250 in good condition, and I can't find anything wrong with this one. It's made of a little bit stronger cardstock, so there's no bends or creases or anything in it. It doesn't even need a pressing. It's ready to go. There's a little crease right there, probably pressing to take it out. Nothing color breaking. So pretty cool book. I'll show it every time I can because I absolutely love it. Here's Secret Wars number 1. This book I have a love-hate relationship with it. I love the cover. I love how they're all coming at you, but I actually really don't like the way that it looks with the off color of the print run, where, you know, the first edition has all this error printing to it, or most of them, or whatever. So I don't care for that too much. I actually like the corrected printing. That it looks a lot better to me. The colors look better. So that's why this book doesn't get up on the wall very much. Plus, I already have Secret Wars number 8 signed by Mike Zeck up on the wall, and that pretty much takes trump over this one. So this one ends up in the bin, but I still love it, and you know, it's a good comic to have. Next we have Shadow and Batman. This was one of the first crossovers that I ever read. I absolutely loved it. I was picking up like all the different covers for it and everything. It's just a super cool book. Shadow Batman number 2 looks really cool. I love it. For a while, that was the only Batman comic I had up on the wall, and then at some point I took it down. Here is Spider-Woman number 6. Great Werewolf by Night cover. Great, my favorite Spider-Woman cover. I hate to say it, but you know, before the mindless rampage of Werewolf by Night, you don't see too many Bendis covers. It's an Infantino cover. I mean, this thing has everything going for it, and since I'm collecting every appearance of Werewolf by Night ever, this one counts, of course, and it's one of my favorite appearances. Just an absolutely fantastic book. When I go through the list of books that, you know, when you do a big run like that, you end up picking up a bunch of books that are not the best shape. They're more reader copies just in order to complete the run. But then after that, you kind of go back and you start replacing some of those books. This is high on the list of books to replace. Even though I love it, it has a lot of creases and some spine wear on it, and it's kind of faded a little bit. Some of the colors are a little faded. So this will be one of the #1 books on in my werewolf appearance group that I'm going to upgrade just as soon as I can. All right, switch gears a little bit. And here we have The Amazing Adventures of Superior Sam. And no, I didn't just put this in because One-Legged Books tagged me in this video. I put this in because this has deeper meaning for me. This book was the first book that I ever read out loud to my wife. And at the end of it, we bawled our eyes out and really just had a great moment together. Just an amazing story, an absolutely amazing story, and great art. If you don't own this book in your collection, you owe it to yourself to pick it up. It's absolutely fantastic. Here is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1. Now this is not, of course, the original Laird and Eastman run. This is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures #1, and it's a 3-issue miniseries. I have all 3, but of course first I picked up 2 and 3, and I waited forever to find #1, and I ended up getting it for free in perfect condition because it was in a lot of comics, and it's one I kept out and I sold the rest and made money and got this book for free, so love that. This next one isn't necessarily my favorite Tomb Raider cover of all of them, but it's Tomb Raider Sphere of Influence #1. I don't think there's a #2. I think it's a one-shot. But in any case, it's not even the best drawn cover or anything like that. But the reason that this one's special to me is because it reminds me of the Facebook haul in which I found it. I had stumbled, actually a coworker told me about, he said, "Hey, you're into comics, right?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, there's somebody on Facebook selling comics. You should check it out." Well, I looked into it, and it looked more like fixtures for comics, and it said, "Oh, and we also have like 30 long boxes." And I recognized the fixtures as a comic book shop that had closed in my area a few months before. So I contacted them. I went over to a house, and there's basically a box truck in somebody's yard with they had a garage with all the fixtures and a box truck with all the comics in it. And I dug until my back hurt for literally hours after work until I couldn't dig anymore, and we made a deal on a long box. I think I bought a long box for, I don't know, $100 or something, and this was in there. And the other reason that it's important to me is that at the time it was the rarest comic that I owned. It was Dynamic Forces, and this is a 1 of 400, limited 1 of 400. So at that time it was the rarest comic that I own. I since own a few comics that are only 1 of 200. So this one at the time was the rarest, and it's still probably one of the rarest ones that I own as far as print run goes. Pretty cool. Happy to have it. This one, Van Helsing. This is a dollar comic all day. It's Dark Horse Comics. I don't care for Dark Horse generally. Sometimes they do okay, but most of the time I'm not a big Dark Horse fan. or IDW for that matter. But on this one, pretty cool comic. If you're a fan of the Van Helsing movie, this is based off of with Hugh Jackman. I have a signed autograph picture of Hugh Jackman in the Van Helsing outfit up in my room, and if I ever meet him in person to get a signature, this will be what I get him to sign, even though I have all this Wolverine stuff. It's funny, but I actually thought he did better than this than as Wolverine. So there you go. Absolutely love it, and my wife likes the movie too. This one is special to me because it's Marvel Spotlight on Werewolf by Night. Marvel Spotlight number 3. If you may or may not recall a previous video that I uploaded where I did kind of a review of this comic, and it's just the most ridiculous ending to any comic ever, and I absolutely love it. And shortly thereafter, after reading this comic and doing the review video, I had went to a small Comic-Con. I got recognized by 3 people or so that had, that knew my channel, and they mentioned this video. And then I also happened upon this book at the con, which I already had a copy, so I didn't need the other one. And I explained to everybody how the comic goes, and it was kind of a fun moment. So actually that video kind of means something to me, so that means this book means something to me. And so there you go with that. Where the Monsters Dwell, just absolutely love this Kirby art here. I've shown this book before, but it's a book that I wish I put on the wall more often. But it's just really cool. Just Where the Monsters Dwell, number 27. Just a badass cover, man. That Kirby art. I just love all the carnage and death that's going on. There's like 10 people dying in this scene right here alone, and the rest of them probably don't have a prayer either. They're all going to die. Everybody here is going to die except that monster. He's going to go off to be awesome. So there you go. Here's another one that was a rare one for me. This is Wolverine. This is the Special Wizard Edition, Wolverine 1/2. So this is 1/2 to Volume 2, and pretty cool. It's crazy art, but what's funny is that it has the blue foil. It's a blue foil variant. I also have the regular variant that's not got the blue foil, but I really like the blue foil one. So this is another one that's going to go to get graded. I think it's a 9/8 candidate. I really do, especially with the pressing, because it has a little bit of a roll right there in indentation where comics have been stacked. Other than that, I think it's in pretty good shape. All right, next we have Wolverine number 10. You all know this is the first time Wolverine and Sabretooth battle, so that's why it makes the list. It's not the first appearance of Sabretooth, but it's the first time Sabretooth and Wolverine fight. Not necessarily in the long scheme of things, as they altered his background and history and things like that, but in his regular Wolverine, it's the first appearance of Sabretooth in the Wolverine storyline from his Volume 2 collection. So after the miniseries and then his first ongoing series, this is the first appearance of Sabretooth. That's a cool cover. And it's one of the first books I ever bought at a con. So, and next we have Wolverine, The Jungle Adventure. I absolutely love this book. It's a Walt Simonson book. It's fantastic. It's super cool. Has kind of a twist ending, and has the first appearance of any spawn of Wolverine. So in this book, he has a kid. At the very end of the book, he has a child, and it's kind of lost in the shuffle and all the Wolverine pantheon. But basically, that happens in this book. It's a super cool book. He's in the jungle. It's just fantastic. If you haven't picked up this book, you can find them in dollar bins sometimes. It's a nice little graphic novel. It's a one-shot, so I highly recommend that one. Doesn't get a whole lot of love, but it's a key, in my opinion, because it's the first appearance of his kid, or any children of Wolverine. This one is a nice Jim Lee Wonder Woman. I don't think I have to say anything about why I love this comic. You should be able to look at that and know. This one is Toys R Us Limited Edition X-Men. This is not my best copy of it, but it's the one I had handy. I have like 20 of these, and I've given several away over the years. But it's the first appearance of Deadpool in a Wolverine. First appearance of Deadpool in an X-Men title book. So, so this one is a story. It's just a great. I love the fake out with Professor X inside the Sentinel, and it's the first Cyber Sentinel. So and it's really cool. It looks really good, and it's a giveaway. You know, it says $1.50 value, but it was a giveaway comic for Toys R Us, which is obviously defunct. And then also it had the first appearance of Deadpool, and it has actually a lot of characters, but to have Deadpool, and Deadpool speaks and does a whole, so it's not just a cameo, he's part of the story. So first time in an X-Men book for Deadpool, pretty cool. And lastly, we'll finish it off, I assume 25, if I miscounted let me know, I doubt anybody else cares either. There's another Jim Lee book, and that's Uncanny X-Men 268, just a fantastic cover, and actually if I had Jim Lee to sign a book myself, I think this would be the book that I would go with. I may pick up, if that ever comes and I have a chance to meet him, I may go with a slightly better, this has a couple of ticks on it, slightly better copy of this book, but it's just fantastic and I love it, and I really like his Captain America, which I don't tend to see very much, and the brown and gold Wolverine, because as you know, as he drew the Wolverine for the ongoing 91 series, he was already blue and gold. So I really like how he draws the brown and gold costume. And of course, you know, what can you say about Black Widow that hasn't been said 100 times? So here you go. Try to keep it under 25 minutes. That's 1 minute per book. That's about as fast as I can go. So I hope you all enjoyed that. Thank you, One Legged Books, and thank you, Probe 186, for the tag. And I guess I'm supposed to tag somebody in this, right? We'll go with Alfred 83 Comics and Comics Edition. All right, thanks guys. Catch you later. And when you get done counting all your books, read a comic. Bye.